Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Aaron Jeffery ahead of his PFL fight against Murad Ramazanov. How you doing today? And how are you feeling ahead of your upcoming fight? Obviously, it is now in the PFL since you've moved over from Bellator. How are you feeling about this?
Feeling good, man. It's been a long training camp. We're just kind of nearing the end now. We got another week left of training and then fight week. So yeah, I feel good. I'm ready to get in there and do it.
And do you feel like the way the PFL works now with tournament format, do you feel like that is better than having to wait for your next fight? You do know when it is going to happen next.
Yeah, it's nice to have an idea of like what my future is gonna look like. Like with Bellator, I was fighting kind of infrequently once every 6 months or
Yeah.
something. So I never knew when the next fight was gonna be. So yeah, it's nice now to know like the format. We already know the dates for the next fight. So yeah, it's cool.
And when was it that you heard about your opponent? Because we kind of heard the fights get released a wee bit later than what we probably would have expected to.
I think it was about 10 weeks out. I had my opponent's name.
And how do you feel like he's going to come into this fight? Do you think he's going to want to stand and trade, keep it on the ground? What do you think his game plan will be?
Oh no, no, I don't think he wants to stand and trade at all. I think if you watch any of his past fights, you can
Yeah.
see that he has a very clear plan that he tries to stick to. He's a good wrestler, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do in this fight. He's going to wrestle.
And do you feel like you've got obviously great wrestling as well? Do you feel like you're going to try and keep this on the feet because you can obviously match him with the wrestling, but that is the area in which you are wanting to try and keep this fight is standing up where his weakness is.
Yeah, I think I'll keep it on the feet as much as possible. Again, like his path to victory is to take me down and stay on top of me. I think I can shut him down there. I think he looks a little bit uncomfortable on the feet, so yeah, that's where I want to keep it.
And if you were to go on to, in the end, be able to get that $500,000, what are you going to spend that on?
That's a good question. Maybe I'll just invest all 500,000 right into crypto.
Well, that sounds like a good. That's
I'm
where all
just
the money
kidding.
is going just now.
Yeah, all of it. One flat check straight into fucking whatever shit coin or something.
And obviously, your last fight was back in September. What have you improved on since you've been able to get that victory?
I would like to say everything, man. Like I'm in the gym full time. I don't really take much time off after my fights. Maybe a week to like rest and recover, and then I'm back in the gym. So yeah, I'm always trying to improve my game everywhere.
And you obviously are looking into shitcoin to try and get some more investments.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it about that last fight, also against Douglas Lima, you were able to get the unanimous decision victory? Was there anything about that fight that kind of like surprised you?
Um, Not really, I don't think. I mean, it might have been kind of surprising how easily and how quickly I took him down in the first round. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a battle, and like, I don't know, within 30 seconds or something, I was on top of him. So maybe that was a bit surprising, but no, it was pretty smooth fight. It went well, I think.
And then obviously there is a wee bit of uncertainty with your fight against Fabian Edwards. Some people thought you had it, other people had it as Fabian. How did you see that fight?
It was close for sure. I think it could have went either way, and that's what they always say about the sport, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't leave it in the hands of the judges. I don't think I fought a very good fight. I didn't really follow the game plan that I wanted to, so I can't really be upset with the judges. I'm kind of more upset with myself for making it that close.
And do you feel like this would have been the perfect opportunity to get that rematch in the finals? Unfortunately, Fabian did drop out, but was that one of the ones that you were keeping an eye on?
Man, he's actually back in apparently.
Is
I
he?
think Fabian is back in. Yeah. Yeah, they announced that. I don't know why they even announced him dropping out because it sounds like none of it was really set in stone. But yeah, I think he's back. So yeah, this
So,
this could be the opportunity to avenge my loss.
and if you were to get that fight, what would you be doing differently?
Um, I can't give away my game plan.
Fair enough. And is there anything that you like to do before a fight that kind of like a ritual?
Not really. fight week is usually pretty low key. Like you're in the fighter hotel, you're with your teammates, coaches, whatever. It's basically just a lot of the hanging out. Like I like to keep it kind of lighthearted, hang out with the guys, like shoot the shit in the room, have some
Yep.
fun. I'm not trying to like put on my headphones and listen to like heavy metal music and stress myself out for like 12 hours leading up to it. I just
Yep.
want to have fun.
And what brought you into the sport?
It's not really that good of an origin story. I have an older brother, a few years older than me, and I would tag along with him and his friends, and they were watching UFC, and I started watching with them and kind of got interested. And then one day he wanted to join the gym, so I joined with him. It was just like cardio kickboxing, kind
Yeah.
of rolling around jiu-jitsu. And then I kind of just stuck with it. I moved away to university. I found a bigger gym. They had some fighters there. I started training with those guys, and then one day the coach asked me if I wanted to fight, and I said sure. And here we are, like 15 years later.
Exactly. And you did have a very good career with Bellator. Were you sad in a way to see that dissolve? And how did you kind of get notified that you were moving?
Yeah, it sucks, man. I finally felt like I had a home. Um, it felt comfortable being there. Like I fought there 6 times. It's the most I've ever fought in any promotion. So yeah, it felt like a home. I knew a bunch of the employees. Like when I showed up on fight week, it felt familiar, so it was nice. So yeah, it kind of sucked to see them go for sure.
And did you get told before it got released that you were moving over to the PFL side and Bellator was kind of dissolving? Or was it kind of like a shock to you as well?
It was a bit of a shock. There was definitely a few weeks of uncertainty, where I didn't know if I was gonna get signed with PFL or if I was just a free agent. But happily, it all worked out.
And it seems like you've kind of got quite a good position in the PFL. You were able to move across and get into that tournament. Whereas you have seen quite a few Bellator people, especially as champions, like Patchy Mix, Corey Anderson, who seems to be having a tough time trying to get fights. Do you feel like that is where PFL is kind of lacking in the sense of they should be, even if it's just a fight, a normal fight on the card, they need to try and utilize the talent that they have a bit more?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit weird how they're doing it because I don't know if it was like an official announcement, but someone was on the Ariel Helwani podcast and said the winner of the tournament is gonna fight the champion for the belt next. So Um, I don't know. To me, that's like a crazy road to have to take to get to the belt, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to get through the whole tournament. They call it the toughest tournament in the sports. And then still you don't even become the champion. You just have the opportunity to face the champion. So it's kind of crazy. And yeah, I guess the champs got to sit out for a little bit. So sucks for them. But yeah, you would like to see them like get booked sooner than the like end of the tournament.
Yeah, because for your fighter, the main thing is staying active, staying in that cage. Whereas I can't remember when Mix was last fought. I think it was the summer last year in Paris. So that could be like a year and a half he's gonna have to
hmm
sit out before the next fight. How much does that affect your game?
Depends on the fighter. Like there's a lot of guys that say it doesn't affect them at all. Um, I mean, it's definitely going to affect your bank account, right? Because a lot of these
Yeah.
guys are on pretty good contracts and they only get paid when they fight. So that's like definitely an unfortunate side of it. And then yeah, like ring rust and all that too. And like even just trying to train and stay ready for like 18 months or 24 months, like there's an injury risk every time you're in the gym. So like having to stay ready for that long is tough on the body.
And what do you think has been your toughest test so far in the cage?
Toughest test in the cage. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I guess if I looked at it objectively, I would say Brendan Allen was my toughest fight because he's the only guy to finish me.
Yeah. And now that you've seen like Brendan Allen, he is in the UFC. Is that are you kind of looking at it as you're there soon? You can hopefully get that rematch in like hopefully after you win this tournament, you go in, you defeat the PFL champion, and then hopefully you move over and you can get that fight again.
Well, me and Brendan rematch each other all the time in the gym. We beat the shit out of each other for free. So that's not one that I'm looking to get back because me and him are pretty good buddies now. But I don't know, man. I'm just taking it one day at a time. Like I have this scary Russian guy in front of me that I got to beat, and then I got two more fights to win the tournament. So in the sport, you can really only take it one fight at a time.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Do you feel like you're saying, you're just focused on the Russian? Do you feel like you have to just take it that one fight in a time because it is a cage, anything can happen. Just one overhand and you're down on the ground canvas.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like it would be crazy, I think, to try and train for the next opponent right now, right? Like imagine
Yeah.
me, I like split up my week. I'm like, okay, Monday and Tuesday I'm gonna train for my first matchup, and then Wednesday and Thursday I'm gonna train for like Dalton Rasta because I might fight him next.
Yeah.
And then the other days of the week I'm gonna train for someone on the other side of the bracket who I might fight in the final. Like it just doesn't make sense.
And did you see the fights on Thursday?
I
The last
did.
few.
Yeah, I saw I didn't see all of them. The card was kind of late. It was past my bedtime, but I saw some of them and I saw a lot of highlights.
And also, there was quite a few great fights, a lot of finishes. What did you make of the fights that you did see?
It was a sick event, man. And it looks like you said, there was a lot of good fights, good finishes, and social media seemed to like be receptive and like it got a lot of airtime everywhere. Um, I think sometimes other promotions like have a hard time competing with the UFC, but I think for the first event of like this format for PFL, it seems like it did pretty good.
And do you feel like what you're saying, there is a lot of finishes in the last one? Do you think that just brings a lot more attention to this card coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think social media was big on that event, and there's one every week for the next few weeks. So yeah, I think it's only going to get bigger.
And you're also fighting in Universal. After the fight, are you going to go and take some of the rides?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to my girlfriend and see if she wants to do that. But I think we'll stay down here in the south for a little bit. It's nice and warm here right now, so we'll soak up a little bit of that.
And how long have you gone down there to train for?
You mean like for this training camp or just
Yeah,
in general? For this camp?
just yeah, this camp.
Uh, um, I was here for 6 weeks in like January, February, and then I went back home to Canada for 3 weeks, and then back down here for another 3 weeks. So like a little bit back and forth.
And how big is it that the UFC are going back to Canada? Not only just for just a normal card, it is a pay-per-view this time.
Yeah, it's sick, and it's in Montreal, which is a cool
Yeah.
city. Um, I've got, I think I've got two teammates fighting on that card, so it's pretty cool.
And do you feel like this is a time where Canadian MMA is just gonna boost up? You also have you in the PFL tournament, you have Jasmine, you have Mike just doing their thing. You've got a lot of up and coming ins as well, just even in the regional scene, in Unified. It's just a lot. It just seems like this is your time to just shine.
I hope so, man. It feels like people have been saying that for a long time, though. Like, I feel like I remember doing interviews when I was still on the regional scene, and they kept like interviewers would ask kind of the same question, like, is Canadian MMA blowing up right now? And it always kind of seems like we're on the verge of that, but no one ever seems to say Canadian MMA has blown up. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it takes to like reach that point.
And like you said, well, you're on the regional scene. Do you still feel like you are on that regional scene, or do you feel like now that you're in the PFL, you've been to Bellator, you've now broken through it, and you're on the big stage now?
It's definitely not the regional scene, man. Like the guys you have to fight. Like if
Yeah,
you look at this middleweight
yeah.
bracket in the PFL, like this is not the regional scene. Maybe there isn't quite as big of a platform as UFC, but no, this is the real deal.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're still getting $500,000 for winning this.
Exactly. Straight into shitcoin.
And what has been your biggest achievement in the sport?
Good question. I don't know if it's biggest achievement, but like one of the most special moments for me probably was my Bellator debut. Finally got signed to one of the big promotions after many years of doing this, and I won, and it was a good knockout, and my whole family was there after the fight, and it was just it was a cool night for me.
And do you ever get any nerves before you go into the fight, or do you have that way of just calming, zoning out, and getting into the fight zone?
There's always nerves, man. They never go away. Even after 20 pro fights, 9 amateur fights, kickboxing fights, jiu-jitsu tournaments, like I've done a lot of shit, never goes away.
And do you feel like when you were growing up as just like an amateur fighter going into the pros and doing all these competitions, the jiu-jitsu competitions, the grappling stuff, do you feel like that's what we need to do to just learn this trade, just keep improvement, is these competitions?
I think so. I wish I would have done more, man. I wish I would have done more jiu-jitsu, more like kickboxing, more amateur fights. I think that's like the best thing you can do as like a young fighter to get experience that doesn't go on your pro record. I think that's huge.
And would you ever do something like, I know Karate Combat, they do have their grappling matches, where they bring people in for that. You also have Submission Hunter Pro. Would you ever do something along that lines, like in the grappling or that?
Yeah, maybe. I think while I'm still active in MMA, I'll
Yeah.
probably like stay focused on that. But maybe once my career is done, I can branch out a little bit.
And has there been any fighter so far that has had a unique fighting style that has been a wee bit either difficult or different? I know some fighters they like to chat shit during the fight. Have you experienced anything like that?
Me and Dalton Rasta talked to each other a little bit in the cage. It wasn't much, but it was like a little bit of friendly banter, I guess. In terms of like a stylistic fighter, I would say Kaio, who I fought on Contender Series, Kaio Berhalo.
Yeah.
He had a difficult style to deal with.
And how was it being on the Contender Series? Because obviously that is the biggest platform to get into the UFC.
It was cool, man. Yeah, I was there twice, obviously.
Yeah.
It didn't go my way both times, which was like extremely heartbreaking at the time. But yeah, it's a cool platform. They treat the guys well, and like coming off the regional scene and like getting to there, it feels cool.
And there has been a wee bit talk on social media just over last night's event, but do you feel like the Contender Series has kind of lost that little bit of prestige? And it used to be you go in there, you get that flashy knockout, you get that great submission, and you're in. Whereas now it's basically more of you win and you're in.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how they're doing it now, and it seems like there's so many fights on Contender Series. It's almost just its own promotion now.
Yeah.
You see guys like getting multiple tries on Contender Series. Um, so yeah, I think it felt like a little bit more special before, but it's still a good platform.
And it is still bringing out killers. Like, you also have Sean O'Malley, Jamal Hill, who's been able to get the belt. You have contenders like Brendan Allen and Chow, who you fought and unfortunately not able to get a victory, but they're doing their thing in the
Hmm.
UFC. Do you feel like the UFC are kind of like making a lot of opportunities for fighters? You obviously have the Contender Series, you have the Ultimate Fight, you obviously have the Ultimate Fighter, and then you also have the UFC Fight Pass, which has got a lot of different fighters on that.
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely like multiple roads to get there, which is good. Um, I think it was also good when Bellator was around. There was Bellator,
Yeah,
PFL, and the UFC, and there was like a little bit of
that
competition, and
rivalry.
guys could like go from one to the other. Like if you did great in Bellator, some guys would get out of their contract, go to the UFC. Some guys would leave the UFC and go into Bellator. So it was kind of cool to see that kind of stuff. Now we really only have like the two big leagues, but I mean, it's a good time for MMA right now in general, I think.
And what did you make of the fight announcement that just got announced? It feels today against Evlov and Pico.
Oh yeah, I just saw. I didn't even know if that was real. I was trying to see when it got posted. I didn't know if it was like an April Fool's thing or something. That's a crazy first fight for Pico, but that's sick. I'm excited for that.
And do you feel like the thing that's keeping Evlov from getting that title shot opportunity is his fighting style. Some people don't feel like it's that exciting, which is probably what is holding him back from that title fight.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know if I've ever watched him fight before, but there was that fight last night with Finney, the
Yeah, for
middleweight,
Finney.
and I saw a lot of comments saying like this guy is the middleweight Evloev, so I guess he has a similar style, and that guy's fight got shit on pretty bad last night. So yeah, I mean, I understand that it's like the entertainment industry and everything, but also your your health is on the line and you're there to get two paychecks. Like
Yeah.
you just do what you can to win.
And do you feel like the judge that scored that 30-27, what end are you on that? Are you more in favor of the damage, or are you okay for if you get takedown and controlled? Well, you need to work on that.
I think 30-27 is crazy. I didn't watch it that closely, but the first round I would say was the most dominant for Finney. And then in the later two rounds, Buddy started like throwing some elbows during the takedowns and whatever. Yeah, I think 30-27 is pretty outrageous. Like maybe you could have given one of the last rounds to him, but yeah, I don't think that's a good call.
Well, thank you for coming on today. Is there anyone you're wanting to shout out or anything else you're wanting to add?
No, everyone can check me out on social media at AAJ MMA. Fight is April 18th in PFL.
Yeah, make sure to watch it. You'll be able to see Aaron get the fantastic stoppage and advance to the next round where he
Oh
will be
yeah.
able to get that 500,000. Thank you for coming on.